listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network. ronanddon.com.
All right, look out now. Here they come. It's the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network. Yep, they heard your plea. Now you got three episodes of the Ron and Don Show, thanks to Les Schwab. Coming to you live from the Les Schwab studios. And Ron, it's the holidays. Why not go out and buy a T-shirt and help some cops, help some kids?
That's right, ronanddon.com. You click on that radio microphone, scroll down a little bit. We got Ron and Don merch. $5 from every T-shirt still goes to Charlie's Dinosaur, and we're going to have a big update about that later in this show. We're going to do another check presentation to Charlie's Dinosaur, explain about what that is. Then also, the shirts run a little bit narrow, so go a size up if you're not used to a slim fit shirt. And then also we got dog/cat/baby bandanas that are available right now in two sizes, big dog and small dog.
Yeah, coming up on the Ron and Don Show, we're going to talk about your dog a little bit. And my dog does something to me where he jumps up with his paws, and I always tell him to get down, and now I've learned that maybe I shouldn't do that. So if you're telling your dog to get down, maybe you shouldn't do that. And also, you would not believe what is happening in Uber cars from coast to coast. I am flummoxed by a new report that just came out. So we're going to talk about that straight ahead on the Ron and Don Show.
So since we just got through the shopping season, or the shopping season is in full effect right now, we just went through Black Friday, Cyber Monday. The origin story of Cyber Monday was interesting, by the way. I was listening to Seth Godin podcast, and he was talking about back in the day. He was in the room when they were with the Internet Marketing Association in the 90s, and they were like, man, we're getting killed here. Mm-hmm. We got Black Friday, and so this is happening the day after Thanksgiving, and they were worried about what was going on. And there was one guy that said, why don't we do Cyber Monday? And so one dude just invented Cyber Monday that now has become one of the biggest shopping days in the year. He should have patented that so he could have got a lot of money. So there's a new study out from Civic Science where they looked at the $15 billion influencer ad universe. So do you know what this is? An influencer ad would be if you are on Instagram or you're on Twitter or you're on Facebook and you see someone that you know that's not necessarily a celebrity and they insert a product into their feed.
And for the celebrities that are influencers, Kim Kardashian, for instance, they say she's worth $350 million. Her sister, who has all the makeup line, she's worth $1 billion. She makes her just for one post, Kim Kardashian, for one post, she makes $1.3 million for one post. In fact, her husband the other day, Kanye West, said, hey, would you put some Yeezy gear out there on your platform?
Right.
And you know what she did? She said, yeah, I'll do it. But she charged him $1 million. Good
for her.
To put it, you talk about keeping up with the Kardashians. She's making her own husband keep up with the Kardashians.
Okay, so $15 billion they think is the influencer advertising budget for 2020. And here's the thing, though. On all platforms but Instagram, influencer ads are tanking. So when they poll Americans, most people don't like influencers. They aren't buying influencers unless you're on Instagram. So what percentage of Americans do you think, and I don't think you've read this study, what percentage of Americans in 2019 bought something they saw from an influencer?
I'm going to go with 8%.
15%.
All right, so that's
15%. Not bad.
That's not bad. It's not a bad guess.
But
it's not a great guess, but it's not a bad guess.
If you use Instagram
could have been worse.
Every single day,
could have said 90%.
If you use Instagram every single day, 42% of those users have bought something from an influencer that they follow. I did this and got burned in 2019.
You did.
And I trusted Instagram. So I saw an ad. I was cruising through my feed, and I saw, are you familiar with the little teardrop trailers that you can tow it behind your truck and it pops up? It's kind of like a mini pop-up trailer.
Yeah, they're called frogs or toads, or my friend has one.
Yeah, a little teardrop. You can get two people in there, like a twin-size bed. Yeah. The back pops open and there's a little kitchenette. You put a cooler and a hot plate in there. And so I saw this. I've been sort of looking at those online, so it came up. You know how it does that. It follows you around. Yeah. But it said it was like a going out of business. We're a teardrop company going out of business. We're going to sell you just the chassis. So it's going to be the trailer with the body, but it's not going to have all the bells and whistles inside for like $249. And because I saw it on Instagram, I was like, okay, somebody's vetted this ad, or it wouldn't have shown up on Instagram. I was like, that's an amazing deal. I can probably finish out the back part and put the electronics in, no big deal. So I've been wanting one of these. So I bought it. It turned out to be a scam. I had to go through my credit card to get it back, but I fell prey to the Instagram buy. Have you bought anything on Instagram? And then I got a follow-up question about $100 purchases.
No, I haven't bought anything on Instagram.
So
but
no like powder, like because of workout powder, running shoes.
You know what I do is I use Amazon mostly, and then I go through and I read the reviews. And you really helped me one day because you said, you know what, don't read all the 5-star reviews. Don't read the 1-star reviews.
They get off the lawn, people.
Read the 2, 3, 4-star reviews because that's where the truth lies. And I have to say, the majority of the time, like 95% of the time, when I take the time to read the reviews and then I get the item, they're spot on. People do a really...
If you do the 3 and 4 stars.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative of the fact that people take the time to write reviews, and I'm trying to do a better job with that myself.
Okay, a question that I love, and this is great in like if you're at a cocktail party. What's the item you've purchased in 2019 for $100 or less, around $100 or less, that made the biggest impact in your life?
Yeah, we talked about this before the show because I was thinking about this. I bought a old pair. In fact, these were used running shoes. There's a small running store that's over by Discovery Park where I run, and I stopped by there, and they had sponsored a trail run. And from this trail run, they had all these shoes left over, and these shoes had just been people were allowed to try them on and run the trails. I ended up buying a pair of these shoes. They're called Hoka Challengers. Hoka Challengers, Hoka. That particular shoe, I now own 15 pairs of those shoes. That shoe has changed my life. I've told you about that shoe, and
I've tried them.
And when you travel,
I do the Hoka One.
Do you wear the Hoka when you travel?
I did. I walked 73 miles in my new.
My friend Carter, who was in Vietnam War, he threw 300 missions off an aircraft carrier.
That changed your life more because you did a marathon this year. You never could have done that before.
I could have never done it without the Hoka shoes. In fact, I couldn't run anymore without the Hoka shoes, and sometimes I can't walk. I told Carter about it. I told my mom. My mom is now wearing Hokas. I tell everybody, I say, even if you're not a runner, try these shoes on because you will experience longevity if you have a lot of pain in your feet like I do. So those particular shoes, I think I bought them for $90. It's made a difference in my life. And then even with my mom started walking with a cane. She put the Hokas on. She just came to visit, and she was able to walk through the airport.
That's awesome.
With just her Hoka shoes on. So
I would love for people.
I'm an evangelist when it comes to Hoka.
I would love for people to email me this because it's a really great exercise. Email us or hit us on our Twitter feed or Instagram or whatever. The $100 or less purchase that has made the biggest impact in your life.
What about for you?
The other one for me that's my go-to, and this is going to sound trite, but it really is true. I bought a coffee cup warmer that sits by my computer. You plug it into the wall. I think it's by Mr. Coffee, and it was $12 or $15. And I like to sip my coffee in the morning, but I don't like it to be cold. And so when I'm working, I put it on. It's like a little hot plate.
I need that.
And so I stick it. I get my coffee. I go upstairs, I turn on my little hot plate, I stick my coffee cup on there, it stays warm the entire time.
Love it.
And every day when I'm using it, I was like, that's the best $15 that I've spent in the last couple years because it just, it keeps my coffee, it makes me happy every day.
Yeah. I need that because I'm a reheat my coffee every morning.
You know what? I'll buy that for you for Christmas. I'm buying it for you. Don't buy one.
I put it in the microwave 3 or 4 times. And then what happens is you start getting busy, and then it's time to take my son to school, and I'm looking around like, where's that coffee? Where's the coffee? Where's the coffee? Where'd my coffee go? So I get in the car, lost my coffee. So now I got to go and buy a coffee at the Starbucks. So I go in there, I buy a tall blonde. It's not what you think.
Hey-o.
And then that evening, like when I'm unthawing something or getting ready to prepare dinner, I look in the microwave, and that's usually where my full cup of coffee is.
Don't buy it.
That I now have nuked 4 times and tastes horrible.
That's gonna be my Christmas present to you. I'll get you the best one.
All right,
and you're gonna love it.
Okay, and I'm gonna get you nothing like I normally do.
Perfect.
You're gonna love that.
Sounds great.
It's the Ron and Don Show. We're just getting started. Is this episode number
37?
37. Please subscribe. And please share on your socials that Ron and Don are back. 37 episodes now, thanks to Les Schwab. They heard your plea. Now you got 3 episodes every Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, you guys. That's pretty cool, isn't it? You know what else is pretty cool is your dog. And we live in dog country here in the Pacific Northwest. Doesn't matter if you're King County, Pierce County, Skagit Valley, Island. Doesn't matter where you are. We all love our dogs. I love my dog. And even though he's gone to the groomer now and he looks like a poodle, bother me a little bit. But nonetheless.
I thought you were pro poodle.
Bushy tail. He looks...
That was an act?
He's a guy that looks like a girl poodle now. Wait till you see him. Anyway, not that there's anything wrong with that. So, we come back about 1 minute from now. We're going to talk about your dog jumping on you. And we've always told our dogs to get down, sit. We tell them off. We tell them leave it, right? When I'm trail running, I tell my dog leave it.
Drop it.
Stop. Wait. All this other stuff. And
you actually have conversations with your dog, and I don't think he gets most of it. Charlie, what are you doing? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, sometimes he's my only friend. We're going to talk about what your dog is saying when they jump up on you, and maybe you should let your dog jump up on you. Yeah, talk about that next. My son calls that uppy. It's the uppy trick. Charlie, uppy! Uppy!
Don't go anywhere unless you want to. It's the Ron and Don Show, starring Ron and Don, and sometimes me at ronanddon.com.
Hey, Ron and Don here for Les Schwab. And Don, one of the things I was so excited about when Les Schwab decided to sponsor the Ron and Don Show is how involved they are with the community, especially in the month of December. I'm pumped that we're teaming up with them again to make sure that every kid in Western Washington has a gift this year. Doesn't matter if it's under the tree, if it's for Kwanzaa, if it's for Hanukkah, whatever it is, they are teaming up with everyone here in the Pacific Northwest to make sure that folks got a tree and they got a Christmas present under that tree.
Yeah, it's really cool. And in fact, each and every year we see these guys out in their Les Schwab trucks and you think they're carrying around tires and they're not. They're carrying around toys. And they have 85 locations in Western Washington to serve us. And they're also want to make sure they serve the kiddos this year. So stop by any Les Schwab tire center. Go to leschwab.com, find a location near you. They're right in the neighborhood. And drop off a new unwrapped toy. And they will make sure it gets to a kiddo in Western Washington just in time for the holidays, all right? Les Schwab, proving once again, doing the right thing. You know it matters.
Ron and Don. Ron and Don. Ron and Don. Ron.
All right, they heard your plea. Now you got three episodes of the Ron and Don Show every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is episode number 37. Thanks for subscribing. Give us a like. We appreciate you. We live in dog country. You walk into a building anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, you jump in an elevator. If people live there, dogs live there. In fact, I remember a couple years ago, and I don't know if these stats still hold, but in the city of Seattle, there were more dogs than there were kids.
I've been thinking about a new dog again.
Yeah.
I know I do this every year, but it's been probably four years or so since I had to put down two dogs.
When I got Charlie 14 months ago, he's 14 months now. My son and I have a dog. He got him last Christmas.
Charlie fixed yet?
But Charlie is 14 months old. He gets fixed the day after Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah, but he just had a haircut and he looks a little ridiculous, but we'll get over it. As I was saying, he looks more like a poodle now, which kind of bothers me. I called our friend Charles, because Charles is a Renaissance man, and he has a dog that is...
Oh, Garu's the best dog.
It's a bird dog, right?
He's so well trained. I love Garu.
And so I asked Charles, I said, hey, I want to teach my dog. So we're probably never going to go hunting, but I still like some of the things that you're able to do with your hunting dog, and I like to do that with Charlie. And so Charles got me these books, and then he said, you know what you want to do is you want to teach your dog on a cord. You start on a 30-foot cord. So we went to Discovery Park. We had an orange cord. And you cut the cord shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter until it's about the size of a leash. And then you start leashing the dog after that. And then they go through stuff that you're supposed to do with collars and all that, which I never did. I never did a shock collar. I know that some people do that, but we didn't go to...
Charles has all sorts of whistling and clicking and stuff that his dog can respond
I just want to be able to trail run with him and have a good family dog that's not jumping up on people when they come over. Well, that's exactly what Charlie does. And one of the reasons he does is because when my son is doing all these tricks with him, one of the tricks that he has is called uppy. And he asked Charlie to jump on him and put his paws forward. And as he's pawing him, they give each other a big hug, and then he picks him up.
They're about the same height when he does
and he twirls him around, and it's called the uppy trick, and then he gives him a snack for that. Well, what that causes my dog to do now is to jump up on everybody when they walk through the door. And
he's got that trick down.
And we've always said, hey, like when we're trail running, you just say off or you say leave it when we're running, so that especially when he sees another dog coming the other way. They are saying now that there is some new research that when your dog jumps up on you and he puts his paws or she puts their paws forward, what they're really trying to do is just connect with you, communicate with you, and say that I like you. They're expressing themselves by jumping up.
I'm always suspicious of these stories because how do they know? Like, I mean, I've watched The Dog Whisperer as much as anybody back in the day with Cesar Millan. Psst. Like, I've watched him. I've read a couple books about dogs. I've had dogs forever, except until recently. How do these dog experts know that when a dog paws at you that they're being affectionate versus, like, wanting to rip your lungs out?
Well, then they say if there's only one paw, if all they do is just raise one paw, and this is in People last week, they say that could signal that the dog is stressed. And then they went on to say that there's other signs of stress, like flattening their ears or smacking their lips.
That's true.
And the best thing to do is just stay positive. I do notice when my dog, because I read in these books that Charles gave me, when your dog is yawning, it means your dog is stressed and your dog is nervous. And sure enough, I notice when Charlie is stressed or in a situation that would probably make him stressed, and that's usually when he's done something, he's tore something apart, and he's maybe in a little bit of trouble, he kind of yawns through the process of, I'm in trouble again. I went to the garbage.
That's fine. And pinning the ears back and licking their lips, those are all
the wagging of the tail.
Wagging tail is true. But like raising one paw versus another paw, I don't buy that. The one that it did say that resonated, I think, in here is if you are showing your dog affection and then it paws at you to want more affection, that clearly is what that means. Like, don't stop giving me affection, and that they want you to, they're reciprocating when they lick your hand or whatever. Like, that seems to make sense. But like, to try to make a blanket statement that every dog in Seattle or Puget Sound, when it raises one paw it means this, and if it raises two paws it means that, I don't buy into that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think though when you get it's fun to think when you get home and your dog is jumping up on you and
it's excited with both. Sure.
Well, when they're a puppy, it's cool and you think it's cute. When it's not cool or cute anymore is when they're like 110 pounds now.
All right, so,
and you're coming home and they jump up on you or they jump up on somebody else on the trails or when you're out in public trying to socialize the dog. Then you're just you feel a little I don't know. You feel a little silly.
I hate to even say this because it's going to unleash the floodgates, but like, so I'm moving back into my condo. I was looking last night, actually, at possibly getting a new dog.
Oh, cool.
So I was cruising through there. And so condo dogs, people email me. I was looking at Great Danes because Great Danes, even though they're really big, are usually pretty cool.
Yeah, about 7 years or
I don't want to.
They break your heart. They break your heart. My friend Mike down in New Orleans has Great Danes.
My brother has Great Danes.
His Great Dane died in front of us, and we tried to give him mouth to snout, and we tried. I like look at him.
That was a cool dog.
We're like, let's try it. So we sat there and we gave his dog mouth to Murph. We tried to give Murph mouth to snout.
And then I looked at like Labradors, but they seem like they need a lot of space. These pit mixes are actually, I've met some that are super friendly and cool.
Yeah.
Would that be a good condo dog? And then the Shiba Inu, I heard, is a good condo dog, but I don't know. I don't know. So email me about the dog situation.
I just had a Shiba Inu stay at one of my Airbnbs.
Were they good indoor dogs?
It's a great dog.
All right.
So, yeah, great
I'm not spending $1 million on a dog, though.
Not doing it.
I'm a pound dog guy.
Not doing it.
Okay.
Hey, coming up on the Ron and Don Show, Ed Schroyer is going to stop by. We're going to talk to him. We're also going to talk to him a little bit about what's happening in Uber cars from coast to coast. He works with the Pierce County Sheriff's Department. We'll find out. In fact, Uber has just said there's been over 6,000 allegations.
Time out. Do you like this bump? I thought it was going to be... Is it a little aggressive? Should I erase this one?
No, it's okay.
You like it? Okay.
No. Anyway, what's happening in Uber cars you may not be aware of. And we'll talk to Ed, who is the PIO of Pierce County Sheriff's Department. And then also we're going to talk to him about Charlie's Dinosaur, what's happening for the holidays. And they just had a big event for the Powell kids. So we're going to talk about that too straight ahead. All right. Thanks for stopping by today. We really appreciate you. Don't forget about the Ron and Don Sit Down. It's really cool, you guys. We sit down, we grab a cup of coffee. We talk about your real estate journey, and we try to meet you right there. Whether you're buying, whether you're selling, it's a big transaction. Whether you're downsizing, maybe you're about to have a baby, we want to be a part of it. We want to help you.
Not of having the baby.
What's that?
Doing the real estate part.
Did I say that?
Yeah. You do not want to be part of having your baby.
Yeah. All right. It's the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, Ron and Don here for Les Schwab. Don, it is winter driving season. A lot of folks are going to head up to ski. They're going snowboarding. They're trying to get over the pass. Maybe it's time to go visit grandma for the holidays, and you're driving over to Eastern Washington. This is the time of year that do you know if your tires are safe? Do you know if you're ready? Do you need studs? Do you need chains? There's a lot going on for winter safety.
Well, and where you got to be careful is a lot of times you can go up to the pass. You can't get turned around and they're like, hey, you need chains or cables, or you can't move forward, and now you're stuck in the pass. Or let's say you have chains and cables and you haven't put them on in a couple of years and you don't know how to put them on. Now you're in a panic in the past trying to put them on. You don't know how to do it. And now you're having to go over and ask other motorists, how do I put these chains and cables on? And a lot of times they're trying to put on their own. Stop by Les Schwab Tire Center. If you have chains and cables right now, they'll show you how to put them on, even if you didn't buy them from the store. If you don't have them, stop by Les Schwab Tire Center. Make sure you have tires, chains, and tire cables as we head into the holiday season and as we head into this winter season, all right? LesSchwab.com. Let's say it together. Doing the right thing. It matters this winter.
Help cops help kids. Go to ronandon.com right now and buy a t-shirt. And $5 from every t-shirt sale will help kids like me. It's called Charlie's Dinosaur.
All right, one of our favorite people is here in the Les Schwab studios. It is Ed Troyer, one of the top cops from Pierce County. And we have so many people that listen to the Ron and Don Nation and the Ron and Don podcast in Pierce County. We really appreciate you guys. And anytime you need to get something done, I'll be honest with you, anytime you need to raise some money, anytime you need to make a difference, and don't take this the wrong way, King County, we don't start in Bellevue. We don't start in Maiden Bower. We don't start in Seattle. We start in Pierce County, or we start up north in places like Everett, where you have working men and women that even know they may be on a budget, they're willing to go without a cup of coffee or without a hamburger, or their child is willing to go without a toy so that another child might have a toy as we head towards the holidays. Something very beautiful just happened in the last couple days, and it was born out of a tragedy. And Ed is here to tell us about it. And this is connected. In fact, we'll do a check presentation here in a moment to Charlie's Dinosaur. Ed, remind us all about Charlie and about Braden and about what just happened 10 years later.
Well, 10 years ago when Susan Powell went missing, and every December 6th across the country, there's something called the Christmas Box Angel, and there's over 150 of them. Everybody across the country gathers at those statues from the East Coast to the West Coast to remember kids that have lost their lives, either be fire, murder, car crashes, or abuse, or however they came to pass. And what's happening now is a lot of those kids are being buried next to the statue that you and your listeners funded 7 years ago. We built that statue 7 years ago in Charlie and Braden's name. And since then, as I was there were 2 new families on the hillside last Friday night when we were doing the dedication, and 2 new sets of families unfortunately were there. And I was looking around at all the new graves of all the young people and kids that were there. But it's a great place for people to go and remember their family and be with other people that have lost young loved ones.
And so, Ed, unfortunately, I know you and some of your friends became poker buddies of mine. You guys deal with a lot of bad stories throughout the years. You guys see people on the worst day of their lives. Why did this particular story with Charlie and Braden and the Cox family, why did this end up being the one that turned into what it's turned into?
I would think because you have 2 little boys and the families became nationally famous because of the disappearance of Susan Powell Cox, and a lot of the television stations and news stations made a big deal about it, and a lot of people were following it, and our detectives became friends with those boys. So when we were doing search warrants and helping that family out and trying to help the West Valley Police Department, we made sure those boys were safe and didn't see what was going on. And our detectives worked with the boys, became friends with the boys. We wanted to insulate them from what a mess this whole thing was turning into. And then we all know what happened on Super Bowl Sunday when Josh blew up the house, killed the boys, and killed himself. That really launched it into a whole nother arena. And
I like to just do this one more. I know we've done it multiple times, but give us the origin story one more time of Charlie's Dinosaur, because Charlie, like a lot of kids and a lot of grandkids, he was really good with drawing, and he liked to sign his name real big under his drawings, Charlie.
Correct. We ended up finding a drawing in a search warrant of a dinosaur with his name Charlie on it. And our detectives, after this whole thing was over and we ended up, doing security at the funeral. They said, we need this to live on. We needed something good to come out of this. And so Chuck Cox, the grandfather, working with our detectives, came up with an idea, and we called it Charlie's Dinosaur. And we had a logo made. And since then, we've brought in so many clothes, and we've tied it to Toys for Tots and suitcases, and we call it Charlie's Dinosaur. And we've got character that goes out to see little kids, goes to parades and different events, and we've been waving that flag for 7 years to keep those boys' memory alive through Charlie's Dinosaur.
Now when you interact with a child on one of their worst days of their lives, you can give them this backpack or give them a suitcase and it's fully stocked.
Right. So the suitcases and backpacks are full of clothing, maybe some treats, artwork, school supplies, coats, shoes, you name it. It's already set up for specific girl or boy, gender, age-appropriate stuff, a brand new suitcase full of brand new stuff, and they just get to keep it and take it with them, and then they own it until services kick in or whatever happens next.
Yeah, so we're really talking about two different stories here that have blended so beautifully together. One is Charlie's Dinosaur, and in fact, right now what I'd like to do is we have a couple checks that we'd like to give you for Charlie's Dinosaur. This particular check, $500, is from me, and it's also from Scott and Mary Douglas, because I promised toward the end of the year here, if I had another transaction with Windermere, that I'd take $500 from the transaction. I had a transaction with Scott and Mary, and also with Ron and Carrie, and out of that, I have a check today, not for $500, but for $600, because we did a sit-down with one of our listeners by the name of Peter Clark, who's now one of our clients, and he handed me $100 in cash and said, would you give this to Ed Troyer for Charlie's Dinosaur? And I said, Peter, we would absolutely love to do that. So on behalf of myself and Windermere and my friends Ron, Mary, and Carrie, and Ron and Scott, who are all part of this transaction.
And Peter.
Yeah, and Peter. Here's $600 to Charlie's Dinosaur.
Oh, very nice.
And then, Ed, I got one more check for you. After we gave you the check presentation last time from the Ron and Don T-shirt sales, which you can still go get at ronandon.com, I was talking to the folks at the Windermere Foundation. So every Windermere agent in our office, and we're 94 in our office, is that right,
97.
Don? 97 agents in our office. Every time they do a deal, they give a little bit of money to the Windermere Foundation. And Charlie's Dinosaur dovetails so nicely with what Windermere is trying to do to help the people that are at crossroads in their lives, to help people that are doing a huge transition, which is, of course, is what we're doing here, and to help people that are vulnerable, which is exactly what Charlie's Dinosaur did. They heard about it and they said, will you give $1,000 to Charlie's Dinosaur? So here's a check from the Windermere Foundation, our 97 agents strong in our Lakeview office and the Midtown offices. We wanted to give you an additional $1,000.
Well, we really appreciate that. And one of the things that we do with this money is we really make it go a long ways, because a lot of our board members and our volunteers know how to go out and contact store managers, and they wheel and deal with them and get no tax and 2-for-1s and extra percentages off. So a little bit of money, and this is a lot of money, will go a long ways to make a lot of really good things happen. And it appears that the Ron and Don Nation, do we still say Ron and Don Nation?
Of course we do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Is continuing to grow, and we really love it. And everybody needs to know that we're 100% volunteer, and every single dollar that comes in goes back out to help kids.
And we should explain, so we have Charlie's Dinosaur. Where the boys are buried, one of the reasons why there are extra graves in the graveyard for other children is because something you and the sheriff, Paul Pastor, had found out a number of years ago, and then you guys jumped into action. Tell everybody what happened. It's an extraordinary story.
Well, I think what it was you guys that caused the big problem. That was a good problem to have. It was the sheriff and I just trying to fix a temporary thing for the day. We found out that they were going to bury Josh Powell next to the boys, and the sheriff and I both said, oh, no, that's not going to happen. We were going to try and, maybe get a court order, but the days were too far out and everything. So the sheriff came up with this idea that maybe we should go buy the ground around the boys and see if that would stop it. As ridiculous as that sounds, I drove out to the cemetery, and people out there were not happy about Josh being buried in their cemetery or next to the boys either. And they had not paid for the graves. So the sheriff and I bought the plots next to the boys to make sure that didn't happen. We just left them empty forever and left it that way. But then the information got out that we had done that, and people from all across the country rallied, and we ended up getting about $125,000 that came in through your guys' radio show when you put the information out. And when that money came in, we ended up building that Christmas box angel and the memorial, and put it all to good use for other kids that may reach unfortunate circumstances way too young in their life, whether they can't afford a place to be buried or they need somewhere to go or the parents need somewhere to go. And that's what we did with that money. And it's just turned into this huge thing where we had hundreds of people out there on Friday night, even though it's a little chilly and cold, 7 years in a row. People show up and we have a candlelight vigil and a school choir out there to honor all the kids that lost their lives.
Yeah, because now you have those extra graves and it's like, who are they use these for? And we'll put kids next to kids. So out of a tragedy, you can find something beautiful and a place to go to remember these young lives, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? That statue and that whole area and that remembrance is going to outlive all of us. It'll be there well after we're gone. So it'll be something that'll stand the test of time for ever.
Yeah. Ed, something we did when we were on terrestrial radio, we did Toys for Tots every year, and you guys are back at it. What are you doing, Toys for Tots in Pierce County?
Well, we're at it doing Toys for Tots. We got a lot of boxes out there. You know, we miss having the big drive with you guys because that brought in a lot of people and money. And then also we took another hit when Toys R Us went out. So Toys R Us was a big financial and toy donating sponsor, and they're gone. So what's really happened is Les Schwab is stuck. You know, Les Schwab has really covered us, and all the toys throughout Western Washington that get donated at Les Schwab go back into your local communities. And we've been working with Les Schwab and you guys for a long time to collect toys. And next week we're going to go up and meet with them and collect another big truckload of toys. We had a big toy drive at Pacific Raceways, which brought in close to 10,000 toys through the car community. They had over 1,000 cars register last weekend, and it took us 2 days with 50 people to sort and box those toys. So we're getting it done. We're just doing it through a different path.
Ed, what's it like? I was just like asking you to think back last year when you showed up with a toy at someone's door. They weren't expecting it. They put their request in and they're like, it's probably not going to happen. Maybe they told their kids, don't get excited. There's not going to be anything under the tree this year. What's it like? Can you just remember back to one story that when they opened the door and they were obviously surprised to see you?
Well, what I think happens the most time when we actually deliver the toys or go to the different distribution spots, I like to go watch and kind of stay back and watch what's going on. I think the parents are more excited than the kids because the kids don't really get it, but makes the parents really, really happy that they're able to supply their kids with items, and just like the other kids that they go to school with, and just like when we give them coats. I mean, we have all these kids wearing clothes and layers, and we give them coats, and then they fit right in. I mean, things that we take for granted, that we all take for granted, and probably majority of the people listening take for granted, a lot of people don't have. So when you give the parents the opportunity to give, which really starts back from your listeners helping us, cops, help the parents to help the kids. So it trickles down, or school teachers or social workers. It makes them just as happy for those kids to receive toys and be part of what's going on through the holiday season.
Our thanks to Les Schwab. You know what? They heard your plea. Now you got 3 episodes of the Ron and Don Show every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because of Les Schwab. We just talked to Brett Clark about the Big Toy Drive. You can stop in any of their 85 locations in Western Washington. And the thing that I love, and Ed, you just talked about this, is they make sure that those toys stay in that community, right?
Yeah. We just had an incident with Les Schwab 2 nights ago when we were going to the tribal parade down in Puyallup to drop some stuff off for some of the unfortunate kids that live up there on the reservation. And my wife got a flat tire on our Yukon, and we went to Les Schwab, and they were closed. It's just like 5 minutes to 5. And then they determined we needed 4 new tires and showed us why, felt totally confident about us, and were able to stay after hours and put 4 new tires on our car because we were out delivering toys. So we were back on the road at about 5:40 that afternoon, and we pulled in at 5 o'clock at closing, and they got us on the road, and we continued on.
Wow, that is so cool.
That's I didn't make that. That's a true thing.
That is,
happened.
You know what? Brett Clark's
made up. That's why I went right there.
Yeah,
yep,
my friend
right
Rich is going to love hearing that. Amy's going to love hearing that. Everybody at Les Schwab is going to love hearing that. And that's because doing the right thing, it matters, not just during the holiday season, but all year long. And we've heard that story time and time again. The doors were closed, they were shut, they were heading home, and then somebody pulls in and they need some help, and boom, the next thing you know, they stay a little late and they take great care of you.
And now I'm good for another 65,000 miles.
There you go. And one more time, if people want to be a part of Charlie's Dinosaur, Crime Stoppers, if they want to be a part of what you're doing in Pierce County with toys, how can they reach out? Even if they want to write a check. Maybe they want to write a check and say, hey, you know what? You guys have buying power. Let me give you some money like my client Peter Clark just did.
Yeah, that's what the O'Brien Auto Group did. They ended up raising about $8,000 to $10,000, and we're out buying toys with that right now and making some good deals. And people can find us at tpcrimestoppers.com. That's TP, which stands for Tacoma Pierce County Crimestoppers.com, or look us up on the web. We have an address there. You can donate online. You can mail us a check. We've had people mail us $20 bills, and we put it all to use.
Yeah, that's what Peter did. Peter handed me $5 $20 bills, and I'm like, okay.
Well, I got to tell you guys, last time I was on the show, about 4 days later, from one of your listeners, I got a check for $500, and in the bottom left-hand corner said, via Ron and Don.
That's
and
awesome.
It was a restaurant in Kent.
That's awesome.
Outstanding.
Yeah, thanks to the restaurant in Kent.
Yeah.
Email us, let us know who you are. So, and anything else before you want to go?
No, I'm good. I appreciate your listeners, and you guys have me on occasionally, and us talking about these type of things besides the regular crime and mayhem that we deal with every day.
Yeah. You look good.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I slept.
Okay.
The whole night.
Hey,
and we caught a hit-and-run suspect everybody's aware of today, and so that kind of takes a little pressure off and makes things a little better.
Yeah, nice job. Hey, thanks for stopping by, being a part of something bigger than yourself. It's the Ron and Don podcast, and thanks for sharing it on your socials. Thanks for subscribing to it, and also thanks for giving us a rating. That really helps us in the algorithm.
Absolutely, and share this episode. Ed, maybe we can get Ed to share it on his Facebook.
Sure.
Just take the link, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Twitter, put it on your Instagram. That really, really helps us.
Right. Stop by any Les Schwab Tire Center now through the holidays and drop off a new, unused toy. All right? It's in my car. It's going to get used. My 9-year-old is going to get after it. So it's going to be gently used. That's just the way it goes. Head up, shoulders back. We'll see you next time on the Ron and Don Show. Only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.